And I'd like to introduce Alice Law. She's Director of Marketing here. Welcome to our program.
Thank you. We're glad to be with you this morning.
Tell us a little bit about the park quickly, and then we'll meet our diver this morning.
We are a 38-acre marine and animal life park. We have 6 shows daily. We're open every day. We have different exhibits throughout the park. We have animal exhibits, aquariums, fish from around the world.
All right, Alice, if we can just move over to our diver now. This is called the Oceanarium, and how large is this particular exhibit?
This oceanarium contains 160,000 gallons of fresh salt water. We pump our water from the Gulf, and it's recycled through the tank throughout the day.
All right, with the help of, this is Sid Stiffens. He's the diver who feeds the fish and cares for them, and with the help of his assistant, we'll have to ask the questions through him because he cannot hear or I cannot talk back to him directly, but I'll ask Sid or his assistant to ask him to go ahead and describe some of the fish that he's feeding this morning. Sid, go ahead.
I'm feeding the sea turtle, as you see here in front of me, and I've also got a large female nurse shark that I will attempt to hand feed here at this time. It's one of our smaller nurse sharks. I'm able to hand feed our nurse shark due to the fact that they're not considered really quite as dangerous or as aggressive as most of the other sharks are believed to be. These sharks do have jaws, and they do possess a very sharp set of teeth, and they're able to leave a really nasty bite if they decided to. Now I have here a sea turtle that's grabbing for some fish. This particular species is known as the green sea turtle. If you don't know too much about sea turtles, there's one important fact you should really know. And that's the fact that all sea turtles are considered an endangered species at this time. Now, our government's spending a lot of money trying to reestablish our sea turtles to the oceans once again. Now, here at Sea-Arama, we do have 5 species of sea turtle. There are 7 species in the whole world, so we're really quite proud of them. Now, this large guy you see me feeding here now is known as a sawfish. You'll notice he has that rather large, elongated blade or saw that you'll see located in front of its head. That saw has a row of teeth along its outer edge, and that makes it really a quite effective tool or weapon. Now here as the diver, we do have to keep an eye out for our sawfish. He does become aggressive during our feeding periods here, and we do have to stay out of his way. He can do quite a bit of damage with that saw. He does know how to use that saw quite well.
Sid, what are some of the other fish in the tank with you?
Now we have another species of shark here in Oceanarium, and that's known as the bull shark. You'll see these bull sharks swimming by our window here. They're the large grayish shark, one that most everybody should be able to identify. Now I do not hand feed these bull sharks. This is for a quite obvious reason. They do have teeth. They're potentially dangerous. And do have to keep a constant eye out for these bull sharks. Now here we have the ling. This is grayish colored fish you'll see in front of me. The lings are much like a clown. They're really quite funny. They have a very unique personality. They're very inquisitive, and they're always coming around, showing off in front of the camera especially. You notice here, you'll see a rather large fish in front of the window blocking me from the camera. That's our large grouper or jewfish. Now we do have 4 rather large grouper in here. Our largest one is known as Baby Huey. He's approximately 500 to 600 pounds. He's still a baby though. Out in the wild, these grouper will get really large. They get up to approximately 1,000 to 2,000 pounds. Now the grouper are really a very quite unique fish in their own. They're very inquisitive and very interesting. Now these grouper have been known in the past to become quite aggressive, especially towards skin and scuba divers. And there are recorded facts that the grouper have actually swallowed divers whole as they swim along the coral reef areas where these groupers live. Now, fortunately enough, these divers have lived to tell this story, and it's really a quite unique one. Now, if you notice this rather large silvery fish that's in front of me, this is known as a tarpon. A tarpon is a highly prized game fish. They're well known for their great biting ability. They tend to leap many feet out of the water once they're hooked. They're considered to be a very highly prized trophy fish by many of the famous sport and game fishermen. You'll notice I have our sawfish here in front of me. He is becoming quite aggressive. You may have seen them splashing away at me here. I'm going to attempt to hand feed our sawfish again. And all the fishes here in Oceanarium are native to the Gulf. They're found anywhere as far out as our deep oceanic waters or as close inland as our bays and estuaries in the Gulf coastal area. So that means all these fish are really quite unique and very different from one another. They're all really quite special. Now, my favorite fish here in the Oceanarium are our little nurse shark. And once again, we'll have one of our small nurse sharks come up to me. They tend to be like our little puppy dogs here. They come up and we can pet them and play with them whenever we feel like it. Now, you notice on my shoulders and over my head, here's a rather large helmet. This is known as a Miller-Dunn diving helmet. This helmet is actually an antique. It was built around the 1900s for the sponge pickers out in the Florida Keys, and was also used during World War II for many of the divers. Now, this helmet weighs approximately 75 pounds and is made of solid brass.
All right, thank you very much, Sid. That's just a little sample
Our
of
little
all the fish. You can hear him talking in the background. And that's amazing. Now that when I go fishing, I realize that there are. I always think that they're only that big out there, but that clears that up. There's actually, he said there is some danger of sharks if they're not fed properly and on a regular basis.
Right. We mass feed our sharks so that at night, so that when the divers go down first thing in the morning, they don't have the problem of the sharks bumping them and then trying to attack them while they are down there.
I want to tell everyone, of course, that I had originally planned to go down in there with Sid. Unfortunately, it's just only one helmet, and, well, you know how that goes. So
we have our brown pelicans here, which we have set up a reserve for them along with the United States government. These birds were knocked out due to DDT conditions that they used to use to kill the insects and things that invaded the farmlands around the area. And over here, Don, we have our Aldabra giant tortoises. These are some of the biggest tortoises that are in the world. These are vegetarians. They can live to be over 100 years old.
always one of my favorites, the sea lions, but I noticed one needs a paint job. What happened here?
Well, he has a bit of a skin infection, which causes him to lose his hair. He is being doctored now, and he is under very excellent care, which his hair will grow back just like the other sea lions.
It does need painted then?
No paint.
Yeah, I noticed some bushes rumbling over there and an unusual pond. What's over there?
These are our alligators, Don. We have some of the largest species in the United States on display. This one that you're looking at here is probably about 6 feet long and weighs in the neighborhood of 250 to 300 pounds. These are some pretty ferocious animals, so they look awful docile and laid back.
What sort of aquatic life do we have here? What ocean do they come from?
Well, these are land mammals, believe it or not. These are wallabies, which is a small version of the kangaroo. They hop around like kangaroos, have back legs and long tails like kangaroos, and the little short feet in front.
I guess everybody enjoys seeing all the exhibits, but I guess probably the biggest thing people really enjoy seeing are the dolphins and the sea lions perform. And when we come back, we'll see some of the entertainment from the shows at Sea-Arama. We'll be right back after this.
Right now, we need to go back to Galveston with Don. He is ready with a bunch of dolphins to show us the show. Don?
We're live in Galveston, Texas this morning at Sea-Arama, and I'm talking with Dave Sweeney. He's the director of training for the dolphins and sea lions, and welcome to our program.
Thank you, Don.
Fascinating. I say animals, mammals. What is the correct?
They're mammals. They are mammals. They're breathers.
All right, why don't you go through a little rehearsal. We're getting ready for the shows this morning, and
All right.
I'll just listen.
This is Lucky. He's a young Atlantic bottlenose dolphin. We'll start out here. See if we can get Lucky to give us a little handshake. Thank you, Lucky. How about a little vocalization? Now, we call that vocalization, but it is a misnomer. These animals have no vocal cords. They make that noise through their blowhole by pressurizing air through the back of their blowhole. But Lucky is an unusual dolphin, has an unusual behavior I'd like to show you right here. It's called the forward tail walk.
I've seen him go backwards. This is the only one that goes forward?
There's a handful of dolphins in the world that do go forward. He just started going forward instead of backwards, and I accepted it and reinforced it and turned it into this particular behavior. All right, we're going to get Charlie Brown out here to join Lucky right now and do a little beaching. Paul Ware is going to beach him over there on the beaching platform.
And some more members of the cast just showed up.
We got an extra. Now beaching is the ultimate in trust between animal and trainer. This is what you call an unnatural behavior. These animals only come out of the water in extreme cases of danger or near death.
Fascinating.
Okay, now this is what we call our spotlight performance in our show. Ken Gray's going up to the top of the tower, and he's going to hold a fish in his mouth. I'm going to go over to this side of a water arena and send Charlie Brown on a run.
All right, I'll follow you over there. How much speed will be obtained before they can reach that height?
He's going to drive down to the bottom of the tank, about 15 foot, come up out of the water 18 feet, and she'll gain a speed of about 30 miles an hour. 450 pounds heading straight for the trainer's face. Come on, Charlie. There she goes. Nice jump by Charlie Brown. That took a lot of guts, Don. I got to tell you, you can see him all over Ken's shirt.
How many different routines do you work them, do you do in a day?
We have about 30 behaviors in our show. We have 4 animals. We're going to bring all 4 of them out for you right now. Do a little song and dance routine.
Oh, the song and dance?
You're going to see it right here. The disco dolphins is what we call them. We've got all 4 of them out here. Big Al, Connie, Lucky, and Charlie Brown.
We're going to remember on that note, Dave. Dave Sweeney, Director of Training of the Dolphin and Sea Lion Show, part of Sea-Arama. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with more right after this.
On my little sheet here, it says Fantasy Jungle Show. Now, I can't imagine that. Don is at Sea-Arama, and supposedly we are going to see a jungle show. I don't know. Don?
Thank you, Jan. Well, although it's called Sea-Arama, and much of it pertains to the creatures of the ocean, there's an exciting act called the Jungle Fantasy, and Alice Law, of course, we met earlier. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about this.
Well, John's act is most unusual because of the fact that John works with all different species of cats. The cat crossing him now is a Siberian tiger. I'm sorry, a Bengal tiger, and the cat right next to him is a Siberian tiger. The cat's in the back is a black panther and then an Asian spotted leopard. John also brings a German Shepherd dog into his act at the very end, which he works with Ravi, the Bengal tiger, on the barrel and some different jump overs and things like that.
Does the heat bother the animals down here at all?
It's real hard on them. As you can see, they're panning pretty hard. This is actually the first summer that we've had John down here.
John said he was at the Poconos before.
Right.
By the way, we want to mention John's last name, Campolongo, is it?
Campolongo, right. And John has traveled from east to west coast doing shows. He's worked with Barnum and Bailey's Gable Gunther Williams in his apprenticeship. John's worked with animals primarily most of his life. He's worked with almost any species of animal, from dolphin to camel.
He told me something that's interesting. First of all, he uses only young cats.
Right,
He seems and also he says the reason that it works so well is that he puts no real demands on the animals, both during the show and off the show. I was in there earlier and had a chance to watch him, and they're just like house cats to him. I don't know how I'd feel in there, but he seems to have quite a...
Well, John has a lot of respect for his cats, and he doesn't push them too hard. He realizes that they are out of their own environment, and this is new to them, but he does not exactly tame them, but he works them up in the act. He lets them perform, kind of, so to speak, and see what they do best, and then he works it into his act. We are 38 acres once again. We have 6 different live shows throughout the day. We have our dolphin and sea lion show, which you saw a part of that earlier. We have our snake show, which we have the famed Kiss of Death with the hooded cobra. Our bird show, which features macaws and cockatoos. Then we have different exhibits throughout the park, alligators, different animals.
Pelicans,
Pelicans, yeah,
turtles.
we have a grant from the Texas government to raise the brown pelicans.
How much is it?
$6.95 for adults and $4.95 for children. That's for ages 3 through 12.
You stay all day.
You can stay all day. You can be entertained all day. We're just more than a lot of fun to spend the day at.
And there's tables and places to eat, of course.
Tables. We allow picnic lunches to be brought into our park. We don't really put any restrictions on that.
Thank you so much, Alice Law, Director of Marketing at Sea-Arama, along with Glenn Capolongo and Dave Sweeney and everyone else. And Sid Stephens, who is our diver. We thank you all. And that's it, live from Galveston at Sea-Arama. Back to you.